Okay. All right. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy May. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Annie Lindy Kugel. I use she, her pronouns, and I run.
You got muted, Annie.
Yes, you did.
There. How about that?
There you go.
I'm not sure where I stopped, but welcome.
After your pronouns.
Okay.
Yeah, the very
Um,
beginning.
Thank you. So I run the Community Services Network, and I'm just excited to have you all join us today. This is our monthly education meeting. We have some fabulous presenters today, as always, sharing some really important information. So without further ado, our list has adjusted just a bit, but we are going to start with, sorry, I'm just monitoring the waiting room here too. So Liz Farmer, are you on? Let me make sure Liz is on. Oh, there you are. I see you. Okay. Hi, Liz. So my apologies. I kind of set Liz up for, I told her it was the 18th instead of the 16th. So my apologies, Liz. She's going to go ahead and share briefly this morning, and then we'll move on to Heather. So Liz Farmer is with Portland New Family Fund. And then we have Heather Coleman Cox with Juneteenth. And we have Janet Honea with the Swindells Resource Center. And then we have TriMet joining with us today. And then I have an update from the YMCA. So quite a few updates today. And then obviously after that, we have opportunity for people to just share openly resources, opportunities, events, etc. Did I miss anyone that's here that felt like they should have been on the list for presentation today? I just want to make sure. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, welcome. Welcome. Okay, Liz, why don't you go ahead and take it away this morning? Thanks so much for being here.
Hello, all. Okay, so because this is a little bit on the fly, I'll just pretend like I'm at a party and someone's like, what do you do? And I'll tell them. So last year, I founded this organization, Portland New Family Fund, and it provides right now birth and postpartum doula care and lactation care and postpartum care packages. So for those of you who don't know, a birth doula is, so if you're going to have a baby, there's a few different providers that you can have at your birth. So you can have an obstetrician, which is a doctor. You can have a midwife, which is also a trained medical professional. And those people are responsible for your life and the life of the baby. And a midwife and an obstetrician do the same thing. So you either have a midwife or an obstetrician. They provide medical care. A birth doula will provide physical comfort measures. They will educate you on the birth process. You'll meet with them prenatally. They'll talk to you about birth classes you can take to prepare, ways you can make your pregnancy more healthy. And then in the hospital, they will do lots of advocacy for you. So for those of you who don't know, the US has the worst maternal health outcomes of all developed nations. So we have the most moms, parents, birthing people dying, and most babies dying across races. So, and then Black women and Indigenous women / birthing people have even worse outcomes. So, for example, 12 white women will die for every 100,000 births, and 40 Black women will die for every 100,000 births. And this is all preventable. So in the Netherlands, 2 women die per 100,000 births. So you could see the disparity. And then babies die at a much higher rate. So the US is the most dangerous place in the developed world to give birth. And birth doulas improve those outcomes because our medical system is so broken. I'm sure anyone here who's interacted with the medical system knows that it is broken, that it is hard, that it is expensive, that you go into debt for it, that doctors and nurses are at the end of their rope. They're so oppressed by the system. So birth doulas can slow the process down and really be there for the parents to advocate for them. Now, a postpartum doula takes care of the whole family after birth. So immediately after birth, you can call your postpartum doula. They'll come to your home. They help with chest feeding. They help with newborn care. They can identify a problem. So the amount of birthing people who might hemorrhage in the weeks and months after birth or have a birth-related injury, it can be assessed by a postpartum doula. So birthing people can actually die anywhere in that first year from a birth-related cause. So that's calculated into the entire number. So, and then there's the human rights aspect to the whole process in that we just don't take care of families. We don't take care of mothers. We don't take care of birthing people. We just as a society don't provide paid leave for, maternity care, all that stuff. So I have been a birth doula and a postpartum doula for many, many years. And a birth doula typically costs in a big city anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. And postpartum doula care can cost anywhere from $25 to $60. So as you can imagine, these services, which are life-saving and not just life-saving, but improve outcomes overall, illnesses and all the things related to the perinatal year, are only available to a select part of the population who have high incomes. And the people who are lower income, who are dealing with, poverty-induced trauma and racism and classism and all of the things, have worse outcomes and could probably in a lot of ways benefit more from the care for overall death and illness. So I founded Portland New Family Fund because there are a lot of very wealthy millennials in Portland having babies with lots of money who were like, how can I, help support whatever? So I was like, I'm going to start a nonprofit, and because I already had a lot of the funders willing to give money. So I opened about a year ago, and I'm just hiring my first 2 employees, and we're getting lots of donations, and it's really great. There's also an equity model in our organization. And so what happens is doulas often also live at the poverty line, because if you're going to 2 or 3 births a month and making $1,500, that's not very much money. And so a lot of doula programs are volunteer doula programs. So they're asking the doulas to volunteer their time to be a part of these programs. And so we pay the doulas their fee. We don't pay them a lower fee. This is not a volunteer program. It is not a volunteer-run organization. The doulas are getting their fee. And then we work with a group of called the NRJC, and they are a group of Black and Indigenous birth workers. And we pay them a certain percentage of all our funds. We give it to them to provide care to Black and Indigenous families who have worse outcomes than non-Black and Indigenous families. So, and right now we're doing birth doula, postpartum doula, lactation care. And then one of our birth doulas a few months ago was like, so I went to my client's home after she had her baby, and her baby was wrapped in a t-shirt because the mom couldn't afford diapers, because there's no government subsidy for diapers. And anyone who's had a baby know that diapers cost like $100 a month. It's very expensive. So this mom was like, do I eat, or do I pay my rent, or do I buy diapers? And so what we started doing is providing a month's worth of diapers, wipes, thermometers, and some other newborn supplies, but mostly the diapers. Because the mom's like, I can just rinse my baby off. I don't need the wipes necessarily. But diapers are, she's wrapping her baby in t-shirts because she didn't have diapers. Diapers are a big problem in Portland. So that now for the first month of life, our clients don't have to worry about that. Now, last year, OHP started paying doulas, birth doulas, $1,500, it was raised from $350 to $1,500. So everyone's like, woohoo. And then doulas did a couple births. and then realized, oh, like if I don't get called in, I don't make 650 of those dollars, because it's modular payment. That's how insurances and Medicaid works, is that you have to provide the service in order to get the money. And doulas book, 2 to 3 clients per month. So a lot of the doulas that I've been talking to are like, I was so excited for OHP and I can't really do OHP. Also, a lot of them haven't been getting they billed and they don't get their money, or it takes many, many months to get their money. So we pay in a private pay setup. So the doula gets paid before the birth happens and whether or not the client calls them in for the birth. And so that's part of the equity model, is that the doula is being compensated and the clients are getting care. So that is the spiel. And if anyone has any questions, happy to answer any.
Hi, Liz, can you hear me?
Yes, go
Yes.
ahead.
Liz, hi, this is Heather with Juneteenth, Oregon, and your statistics are mind-blowing. What you said at the beginning of the presentation.
Oop.
I think we might have been, let's see.
I think I unmuted myself.
Okay, there you go. We can hear you now. Sorry. It's a
No
theme
problem.
today. Sorry.
What you said at the top of your presentation regarding the U.S., which is the richest nation in the world, having the worst statistics of mom births, or moms making it through the maternal birthing. It's very alarming. I did know that Black women face this issue more than any other race, and I'm curious to know, is it just because there's not services available? Like, are they just not going to the doctor for prenatal care, or is there just not the services available and they don't know to do this? Is there a range, an age range? Like, is it like just the women that are the teen mothers, or is it the older women, or do you have any information surrounding that?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. And the answer is yes. All of those. There's so many dynamics that go into creating these statistics in the US. Part of the issue is we over-medicalize birth in this country. So in countries, in birth, you have a problem if you do too much medical care or not enough medical care. You need to be, who is the one in the middle? Mama bear? Who is the one who is just right? Baby bear?
Yeah, mama bear.
You need to have mama bear. You need to be just right. So if you're giving everyone a C-section, which is when you do an operation to pull the baby out of the belly, you're going to have lots of operation-induced illness and death, because a C-section is a major abdominal, surgery. And if you're doing too many inductions where you're starting the birth process with medications, you're going to have hyperstimulation of the uterus. So literally, like, the uterus can explode from some of the medications that they give. So some of it is too much medical care. Like, I served a very high income population, and the outcomes my clients would have in the hospital was appalling. I mean, just like so many inductions, so many cesareans, because we're a for-profit healthcare system. So doctors who do C-sections get paid more money. Doctors who do inductions get paid more money. So that's part of it. That's not all of it. And it's not the doctor's fault. It's the system we're in. So that's a part of it. There's also obstetric deserts in the US. There, I don't know if any of you know, but Mount Hood just closed the maternity center, or they tried to close the maternity care center that in Gresham that was basically serving lots of Black and brown families. And so those families would have to drive, some of them, an hour to get to the hospital during birth. So then you can have, a lot of, if you don't have access to medical care, then, also, we use obstetricians in this country. Doctors shouldn't, in my opinion, should not be taking care of low-risk women. If you look at Europe, they all use midwives. midwives are not surgeons. They just use less interventions. They're just less medical. Like doctors are trained for emergencies and they will see emergencies where there's no emergency. And so if you look at the countries with the best outcomes, even with populations that are all across races and incomes, and they use midwives, they have better outcomes typically. So there's just so many factors. And so there's like a lack of access to care, and then there's like too much care, basically. And then we are just in general like a sicker population. You know, there's so many people with food insecurity in this country. If your body isn't getting the nutrients during pregnancy, you're gonna have bleeding after birth, you're gonna have anemia, you're gonna have all these issues. So it's just so multifactorial. And then there's a lot of prejudice in hospitals. You know, the amount of clients that I hear who are Black, who are like walk in to have their baby and have college degrees and are married and are treated, you know, the first thing that happens is we need to do a drug test on you, you know, so there's like a lot of that stuff. Or low income, you know, white moms, if they find out that you live in a trailer park, they're going to treat you a different way than, you know, so there's just like a lot of, there's so many things. I mean, I could talk for hours about all of the dynamics, but yeah, did that answer your question?
Absolutely. And it's just very disheartening. It's very disheartening that this country is so communist, that, you know, everything is about the dollar and not about health and not about humanity. It carries it over into everything. It spills into life, you know, so it's just very disheartening. And I think that what you're doing is awesome. You know, I want to learn more about what you're doing and how I can help, because it's awesome. I'm inspired.
Oh, thank you. And I just will add one more thing, which is I believe that having care and support around the perinatal year can prevent so many things. Because I've worked in lots of areas of nonprofits. And I think that for a lot of people, this care can prevent being unhoused, can prevent drug relapses, can prevent, you know, when you have care around this time, even if you have histories of drug use disorder or being unhoused, this can set you up as a family to improve outcomes for the rest of your life, for the rest of your baby's life. Like, I just think that it's one thing that is so far reaching, that is so like upstream care and like really getting at the root cause, or one of the things that can get at the root cause of so many other issues is there was a quote, I forget who it's by, but it's something like, you can look at the health of a society by how they treat
their women.
moms. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Keep up the great work. Keep up the great work.
Absolutely. And that was off the cuff, Liz. That was amazing. Thank you.
Well, it's my every time I'm at a party, my husband hears me go into it. He's like, I'm going to go. I just so you're like a doula, you know, so I have a lot of practice. But thank you.
That's all right. Just let him go, and you keep educating.
He's very supportive, but he's like, there's only so much, you know, but Thank you, Annie, for switching things around so I could do this.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing such important information. And I know that I have some follow-up questions, but I want to be mindful of everyone's time. So I'll connect with you separately. And if you have any links or contact information to share, Liz, you can put it in the chat, or you can.
I'll drop my email in the chat, and I love community connections. So if anyone wants to connect, please email me. And I'd love to connect with.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Liz. Super appreciate you and all the work that you're doing. All right. Next up, we have Heather Coleman Cox from Juneteenth, Oregon. And we're super excited to have you here. Heather has moved on to a different organization and has carved out time to share the important history of Juneteenth in Oregon. And we just appreciate you being here. So thank you, Heather.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me. And I'm Heather Coleman Cox. I am the Media Relations Director for Juneteenth, Oregon. And I'm here to talk about the history of Juneteenth a little bit and how we celebrate Juneteenth here in Oregon. And I do have a slide deck that I would like to share. All right. So I'm going to begin with the Emancipation Proclamation. We all know just a little bit of U.S. history. The U.S. was in the Civil War, a war that was within the country, our country fighting against each other. And the cause of this war was slavery. It was, do we want to remain a country that has slavery, or would we like to end this slavery and move to an industrial country? And we fought for 4 years. You know, it was the biggest war of American tragedies in U.S. history, our own Civil War. And during this war, October of 1862, President Lincoln, he was in Pennsylvania, and I believe it was Gettysburg. And at that time, he announced that he announced his Emancipation Proclamation. And what this was a document that he proclaimed that any states that are holding slaves after January 1st, 1863, those slaves would become free. Now, let me correct that, because it was actually only for the states that were opposing to join the Union, to become a part of the United States. Because Lincoln did allow about 3 or 4 other states to retain their slaves after the Emancipation Proclamation, because they agreed to become a part of the United States. So January 1st, 1863, the emancipation goes into effect. And this is a depiction of what I imagine the slaves on December 31st, 1862, the day before the proclamation became law. I can imagine that they were all congregated in churches and in their homes, just waiting for the clock to strike midnight so that they would become free. After that freedom came, they left in droves and mounds of tons of them left, but there were many that stayed behind. The older ones, the sickened ones, the ones that felt that they couldn't make it out there without their masters, the ones that were a lot of people stayed to become sharecroppers. That's where sharecropping originated. It was after slavery, when the slaves became free, and the master said, hey, if you stay and help me with my crops, I will help you. We can share the profits, you know? So a lot of them were left, a lot of them stayed, and a lot of them were massacred. Next, I want to talk about Juneteenth, how Juneteenth came about. So 2.5 years go on after the emancipation becomes law, and word gets back to Lincoln that, you know, Texas is still holding slaves. They have not freed their slaves, and Texas was definitely one of the states that were opposing free in slavery. They were opposing the Industrial Revolution. They wanted to stay slavery to remain, and if they were to have their way, I can imagine that slavery would still be going on to this day. So thank God for the Emancipation Proclamation. So what happened is once Lincoln realized that Texas was still holding millions of slaves still in bondage, he sent Major General Gordon Granger to Texas, to Galveston, Texas, to give General's Order number 3. And amongst these orders was the proclamation that the slaves were free and they could go and they could leave. And, you know, it was when he arrived there, it was over, I believe, 2 million slaves still in bondage that were, that did not know they were free. They had been freed 2.5 years earlier and they just were not aware there. And when he got there, it took him weeks to go through all of the plantations because there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there was no way to get that word out except for him to go to plantation by plantation and inform the slaves that they were free and they were allowed to go. And that is exactly what he did. Now, like I said, the Emancipation Proclamation did not end slavery in America. All it did was prevent slavery in the opposing states. It was not until the 13th Amendment, which was ratified December 6, 1865, that all slaves were free, that slavery was banned in America. Now, once slavery totally ended in America, my ancestors, they selected June 19th, which is the date that Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas with the news that they were free. They selected that day to become their day of jubilation. It used to be called Freedom Day. It's been known as Emancipation Day, and it found its new name of Juneteenth. And so they started celebrating Juneteenth a few years after 1865, and they would post it in the newspaper. And this is a picture of one of the clippings about Juneteenth. It would have parades. You can see that a lot of people would come out and celebrate that day. These are just photos of just pictures from back in the day of early Juneteenth celebrations. They would celebrate with bands, they would celebrate with food, they would have parades. And this picture is very special because who goes to a picnic with their finest clothing on? For Juneteenth celebrations back then, they would get dressed up in their best attire because as slaves, they were not allowed to dress nicely. They didn't have clothes to dress nicely in. So one of the big parts of Juneteenth back then was to dress up in your finest attire and go to the picnic and have your picnic. And next I want to talk about some of the foods of Juneteenth. Red is the official color of Juneteenth. And some of the foods that you'll find at any Juneteenth celebration will be barbecue. Barbecue is a real big popular food that's at Juneteenth celebrations. Fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, greens, and there is a special drink. It's called a strawberry drink, and it's right here. It's either made with strawberries or watermelon, and it's one of the signature drinks of Juneteenth. And here is a picture of a red velvet cake because as I stated, red is the official color of Juneteenth. And again, here is the signature strawberry drink that they used back in the day. Next, I want to talk about Juneteenth flag. This flag was originally created in 1997 by a gentleman of the name of Ben Hyatt. Now, the flag has meaning. The white star in the center of the flag has dual meaning. One, it represents the Lone Star State, which is Texas, and the outburst or the starburst on the outside of the star, it was inspired by a nova. A starburst is a term that astronomers use to name a new star. And with freedom becoming new, it was used to depict that or signify the newness of freedom. And then you have the arc. the curve that extends the width of the flag, it represents a new horizon in the opportunities and promise that lay ahead for Black Americans. And the colors that were chosen were red, white, and blue to symbolize, first of all, that they were in fact American citizens, although they were slaves. They chose those colors because that's the same colors as the American flag. And so those same colors were chosen to represent the flag for Juneteenth. The red signifies African American, the blood that was shed from the Middle Passage when my ancestors were shackled and chained and brought over here through the Middle Passage, up into the spilling of blood of the beloved George Floyd that happened just a few years ago. Next, I want to talk about Juneteenth Oregon celebration, what we do here in Oregon. Now, the Oregon celebration started by Miss Clara Peoples, who I will talk about a little bit later in my presentation, in 1945. Miss Clara Peoples, she migrated to Oregon in 1943, I believe, from Muskogee, Wisconsin, or Oklahoma, I'm sorry. And she worked for the Kaiser shipyards, building ships for World War II. So where she came from, they celebrated Juneteenth. However, here in Portland and Oregon, there was no mention of Juneteenth. So in 1945, when she was at work, she got permission from her supervisor to announce over the PA system that it was Juneteenth and that they should come and meet her in the cafeteria and celebrate. So she got on the mic and she said, "Hey, y'all, do you know what today is? It's Juneteenth. Meet me in the cafeteria and let's celebrate." So she was a real pioneer in starting Juneteenth here in Oregon. And in 1972, the city of Portland recognized Juneteenth as important. However, it did not recognize it as a holiday, but it did recognize the importance of celebrating Juneteenth. And here, this is a photo of our parade last year. I've been involved with Juneteenth since 2015. And I'll tell you, last year, we had over 800 participants in our parade. We went from a parade of, I'll say, 75, maybe the largest that I've ever been involved in would have been 125, 150. Well, last year, our parade was phenomenal. It was over 800 participants. And I want to give credit to former President Donald Trump, because due to his ignorance around and surrounding Juneteenth, he made it very popular. He made some decisions during his reign, as his term as being president, that were very offensive to a lot of people, and he became, one of the people that sparked off the revolution of Juneteenth. So I do give former President Trump credit for that. Here are just some of the people that participate in our parade year after year. And I selected specific photos so you can see that this is a multi-cultural event. This is not just for Black people. This is for everyone. We have not only Black representation in our parade, but we also have white people and white organizations in our parade. And as I stated, our parade is only growing larger and larger each year. This is our official clown of Juneteenth. Her name is Mickey Brown Clown, and next to her seated is the mother of Juneteenth, Miss Clara Peoples. She is the person that founded Juneteenth here in Portland, Oregon. And she has been officially recognized as the mother of Juneteenth. She is no longer with us. However, she is recognized as the mother of Juneteenth. And it is very special to me that the mother of the nationally recognized mother of Juneteenth came right here from little old Portland, Oregon. So that means a lot to us. I am on the board of directors of Juneteenth with her daughter and her 2 granddaughters, who you will see later on in my slide deck. Okay, and this is just, again, another picture of the event. We have guest speakers that come out. We have people in the community. A lot of organizations will set up a booth and you know, give out their information regarding whatever their business or their organization is. And it is a community event. Anyone is welcome to get a booth, and also our parade. Anyone is welcome to march in our parade. We do not charge for that. It's called the Clara People's Freedom Trail Parade. So there's no way that we could charge to be a part of a Freedom Trail Parade. Another thing that we do with Juneteenth Oregon is we established a Miss Juneteenth Oregon program. And this program consists of Black and brown girls in the community that from the age of 8 to 19, where we take them through a 8-month program. We meet with them 2 times a month on Saturdays. We take them on field trips. We bring in speakers to teach them about economics, about healthcare, and maybe Liz, if you're still around, you could come and speak to them about what you just reviewed with us. But we also introduced robotics. I am actually the robotics teacher, and we just have a great time. We have parties, and we just do a lot of different things with these girls to keep them, to let them love themselves, to let them know that they are valued, that they are loved, and to give them, instill hope in them, to let them know that don't hold your head down, be proud, be Black and be proud. And we have lots of young girls that participate in our program. Now, this is the board of directors of Juneteenth Oregon. My very left, this is our president, Janelle Jack, and she is a direct descendant of Miss Clara Peoples. She is her granddaughter. And this is me, Heather Cohen Cox. I'm the media relations director. Next to me is our secretary treasurer, Miss Marcia Peoples Jack. She is the daughter of Clara Peoples. Next to her is Tasha. She is in charge, Tasha Dyson. She is in charge of our volunteers. And next to Tasha is Jen Robinson. She is also a granddaughter of Miss Clara Peoples, and Jen is our vice president. And this is the great Miss Clara Peoples herself. Again, she is the official mother of Juneteenth, not just Juneteenth Oregon, but the national Juneteenth. She is nationally recognized as the mother of Juneteenth, and I'm just honored to be on the board that she started. And finally, this year, our Juneteenth Oregon event, it used to be one day. It used to be just severely underfunded. We would be able to raise, you know, $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 to try to throw off this event, and pay for the parade and all the permits and everything that comes along with throwing an event. However, again, after President Trump brought so much light onto Juneteenth, a lot of organizations started coming around and you know, having humanity and volunteering, giving us money to throw our events. So now we are able to host a 2-day event. In this year, our event will start on Saturday, June 17th with the Clara People's Freedom Trail Parade. We start at King School in Northeast Portland, and we will proceed north down to near Emmanuel Hospital. We'll go down Martin Luther King to Knott Street. We'll make a right and we'll end up at the fields right across the street from Emmanuel Hospital. And next to that field across the street is a park called Lillis Albina Park, and our event will start at noon. We have lots of vendors, retail vendors, healthcare vendors. Last year we had a booth that was of nurses that were giving out COVID shots. So there are like a plethora of different types of services and retail vendors that will be at our event. And our headliner this year is Cupid. He is known as the Line Dance King, and so he will be there this year. And also our event will take place on Sunday. That will start at noon and it goes until 6 p.m. And that day, it's more of a relaxing type day. It's more of a jazz type theme. And we have a lot of local artists that will participate and perform on that day. We also have politicians that come out every year. Senator Ron Wyden comes out. Senator Jeff Merkley comes out. We've even had the governor, Mayor Ted Wheeler to come out. And we're looking for the governor, Miss Tina Kotek, to come out. And if she doesn't, she normally sends a representative from her crew to come out. And so that is my presentation on Juneteenth. And I'm here to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Any questions for Heather? I loved that personally.
Thank you. Thank you. And I will leave our Facebook website and our World Wide Web website URLs in the chat, so anyone can go back and click on those and check us out even further. We are always accepting donations and volunteers. It's never too late to sign up to be a volunteer, and it's never too late to donate. Thank you.
Awesome, Heather. And if someone wants to host a table, would you be able to put either the link or your contact information some way that they could get a hold of you?
Yes, I am going to leave that in the chat. However, we did shut it down because we did meet our quota just the other day. So we did shut that down, but you're more than welcome to come out and enjoy the festivity. And if you'd like to be a vendor next year, just join, become a member and follow us on Facebook, and you'll be kept abreast of when everything is going to kick off for the next season.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear it's full. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're happy about that.
To you and your team. And thank you so much for this presentation. I learned a lot. I know that I did, and I just truly value the work you're doing and the time that you spent with us today just to share. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions for Heather? I know that Heather has to jump off here shortly to next engagement. So
I have a question. This is Charity.
Yes.
Hi, Heather. Are you able to share your presentation with 211? We have like our outreach team. I really love your presentation. I was wondering if you're down to do a presentation at one of our meetings. I can reach out to my folks.
Yes, I'd love to. I
Oh,
love sharing information about Juneteenth. So please, yes, I'll leave my email address in the chat also, and please just reach out to me. I'm very happy to.
okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll get your email so I can send you an email.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Charity.
Yay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Perfect. And I think Rose, did that answer your question as well?
Yeah, it does. I was had a similar question, and it was so great to hear your presentation. And it's really interesting because my organization, we also have a branch in Oklahoma. So it was very it was pretty cool to hear about Miss People. So
Yes.
yeah, I'd love
Yes.
for you to also maybe do a short presentation for us as well. So thank you
Okay.
so much.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Heather. Super
All
appreciate
right.
having you
I'll
here.
leave that information in the chat and I will stop sharing. Thank you.
Perfect. Oh, wait, Wendy, did you have a question? Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to chime in and say I would also like a presentation, Heather. So
Okay.
looking for your email and I will reach out to you today. Thank
All
you.
right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Heather, again. Well, you'll be busy. Sorry.
Yes. Thank you, Annie. Thank you. This is
All
how
right.
the word gets shared.
That's
spread.
right. That's
So,
right.
thank you.
Thank you for the beautiful presentation. Have a lovely day. Thanks for being here.
Yes. Goodbye, y'all.
All right. Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Janet Honia from the Swindells Resource Center. Janet, are you on? Maybe. Let's see what time. Or Stacy Ball. Looks like someone was going to step in for Janet potentially. Okay, no Janet. Okay, while we are waiting for Janet to jump in, let's just see here. I'm going to share just a quick update from the YMCA. We have, let me just find this email so I can share the. Okay, so Mackenzie Stewart was going to share today, but she has been out sick all week. And so I just want to share my screen really quickly. Mackenzie is with the YMCA of Columbia, Willamette. And here it is. Okay, so they are hosting this event. Can everyone see Hip Hop for Love on Saturday, May 20th? So this coming weekend from 1 to 4. So she just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that this event is happening, and please share with your community. I will send it out in a follow-up email before Friday, hopefully. And then she also had a couple notes here. So it's a free community and family event in partnership with Anthony Rivera, a local musician. There's fun, free food, fun kids activities and community resources. And then there also is a summer, so received a grant to be able to offer free summer camp for 6 weeks for PPS of Portland Public School students, ages 5 to 12. Ryan mentioned, so the coworker, Mackenzie's coworker, Ryan, will be sharing more information. And I think I actually already have that in the CSN email, the Friday email that you receive. So just scroll down for, I think it would be under either education or family programming. And so that's a free summer camp for 6 weeks at the YMCA on, I'm not sure of the specific location. If it's the Southeast version or the Southeast one, I'm guessing. But so that's a free camp. Please feel free to share with your community. I know summertime gets very expensive when it comes to making sure that children have appropriate care. So please feel free to share that. All right, so we do have TriMet who will be hopping on here shortly, but they are not on, I don't think. Oh, John, are you on? I see you, but I think you might have stepped away for a minute. Or Amparo. Okay,
Hey, Annie, I'm here. I am going to text John and see if he's here. I know he's doing a million other things right
Yes.
now as well. So let me,
Today was one of those kind of Tetris days, I feel like.
yeah.
Lots of shifts. So in the meantime, and for a while, we're waiting. Does anyone have any community events or upcoming programming or information you would like to share? I know I have some on behalf of the CSN, but I wanted to give people an opportunity to share. And just feel free to unmute yourself.
I'm Lily Armenta from Sunshine Division. Hi, everyone. And I just want to make presence and remind everyone that we have 2 locations for food pantry. So if you'd like to refer anyone for our to receive our food boxes, you can go to our site, sunshinedivision.org. and it gives you the days and times of operation. So just wanted to share that with you, just as a reminder that we're here to bring hope to those in need.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Anyone else?
Lily, could you put the or the link in the chat, please?
I will. Thanks.
Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. Anyone else have any events or anything they'd like to share? Okay, so I'm going to do something real quick before we have TriMet hop on. I'm going to share my screen as I see all of you. I lost all of, oh no, here we go. Okay, can everyone see okay? Yeah, thumbs up if you can. Okay. Good, great. Okay, so most of you are probably familiar with this page. This is the CSN's website. And I just wanted to walk through a couple updates that we've made in the last few weeks, a lot of times before. So we host 18 resource fairs a year, which many of you have joined us, and we're super grateful for that. And I just wanted to give you a new kind of piece that we've added. So our events can be found under this events tab under community resource fairs. And when you click on that, a lot of times we get the question of who will I be hosting a table with from a nonprofit or community partner, or a community member might ask, can you tell me who's going to be there? And our flyer starts to fill up pretty quickly. And if we added all the names of the table hosts, poor Ruth would be scrambling at the last minute because there's always shifts. So what we've done is added a feature to our website where you can view the table hosts signed up by event. So if you want to go in and see if the event would be appropriate for a client, or if you want to see who might be there, who you'll be tabling with, that you might want to reach out to when you're there, or touch base, or just to kind of see who's there. This is an opportunity to be able to do that. So I just wanted to share that feature. And just a reminder, so this is our upcoming fair on June 2nd at Rosewood. And registration is full because we had a huge turnout, which is awesome. So I was going to say something and I just missed it. But anyway, so that's essentially how you can see who signed up for upcoming events. And we are in the process of planning for fall and winter of next year. We are filling up. So if your organization is interested in partnering or hosting a fair, please let us know as soon as possible so we can make sure to carve out some time for you in the next year to be able to do that. So that's one feature. Oh, when you click on it, just a reminder, it does take a few seconds to load. So don't feel like you're hitting a dead end. And one other item to show the directory. This is a feature that also takes a few minutes to load, but these are all the organizations in the CSN that have currently signed up as members. So if you come through here, then you can kind of see who's partnering with the CSN currently. And then we don't include names in here, but you can always email me and say, can I connect with someone from North Star Clubhouse? I've been really trying to get a hold of them. But we just don't, for privacy purposes, we don't post the names currently. One other quick feature on that. So you can go to view larger version at the very bottom. And you can filter by focus area. So I just went to filter, and you can go to focus area. And maybe you want to focus on, let's just go to 55 and older for the ease of it. So you can pick a category, and it'll bring up the organizations that are just under that focus area. And you can choose multiple focus areas, but if you're looking to partner or host an event, this feature can be really beneficial. All right, so I just wanted to share a couple of those things with you really quickly. And now it's going to not let me scoot back up there. Okay. All right. So those are the updates I have from the CSN. We have quite a few events coming up. Make sure to check out the website if you'd like to sign up or see who's hosting tables or volunteer. Those all can be found on that website. So, all right, John, I see you.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Awesome. Yes, yes. Sorry to pull you from
That's
your
okay.
other duties, and I appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
John is with TriMet, and TriMet has a wonderful offering this summer that I wanted to make sure was made aware to the community, and I'll let John take it over from here.
Yeah, thanks, Annie. Hope you can all hear me okay. TriMet has a free youth summer pass that we're making available to all high school age youth, not just students, but anyone really between the ages of 14 and 18. And it is across our entire service area. And funny, I was just, one of my colleagues was just here, and I'm down at our operations center who's picking up a load of passes to get them out to high schools. What we're doing is we're also kind of calling it a high school pass, but it covers both. And our primary distribution to begin with is going to be through the high schools, obvious place where most of the young people are. And so they're going out now. The passes are going to be valid from June 1st to August 31st, wide open access to all TriMet, Portland Streetcar, C-Tran up in Vancouver, and that kind of thing. And here's a little visual of, it's in a plastic sleeve, and there's a graphic there, and on the back, it's a hop card. It's on a card stock. So we always recommend that the students keep them in here so they don't get damaged, because they can get wet or damaged and they wouldn't work. But it's just a tap, just like when you're getting on a bus or a MAX train. And so in terms of, is most of this community, Annie, in the East Multnomah County area? Do I understand that correct?
All over Portland.
Oh, okay.
Well, and some into Beaverton as well.
Okay, good. Well, we're hitting, we did an initial drop to Portland Public last week. We're in the process of compiling. These are in kit form, so we've got people compiling them. It's taking a little time. So we're doing initial allotments to high schools now. And then we're going to be backfilling should they start to go out the door pretty quick. We're communicating directly to school districts and to schools themselves. And then they are doing the distribution. As we move closer to the end of the school year, my colleague Amparo and I are working about getting them out to community-based organizations where young people are going to be over the summer. So they will be available there. And then if any students don't pick them up before the end of the school year at their high schools, we will be leaving supplies of them at most high schools, which are open for the schools that are open during the summer for summer programming and a variety of things. We'll have them there. So if they didn't get one or lose one or have it damaged or whatever, they can just go back to a high school and get one. And that's kind of the gist of it. We're not, tracking closely. We want to get these in their hands. They are available to, we call rising 8th graders. Incoming 9th graders can get them as well. And what we recommend is that they just go to whichever high school they're going to be going to pick one up. Always a good idea to keep their student ID card with them over the summer. But not mission critical. And it also covers graduating seniors as well. And we do also have a supply of they're essentially adult passes that we're going to be providing to the community colleges. And so they'll be available there for those attending summer classes. But again, it's free, it's wide open access, and good from June 1st to August 31st.
Awesome. Super, super helpful. And just to add to that, John, from what I feel like our conversation, even if a student doesn't go to a specific high school, they can go into any high
Yeah.
school in the
Yeah, yeah.
Tri-County area. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, that is true, and we're communicating that to school, the principal secretaries, school administrative teams, and everything, so they can just go in and get one. Everyone's eligible, no one's being turned away. The idea being, of course, that these are for youth and students who will make use of them over the summer and are transit dependent, but I mean, I'm telling folks, hey, if you think you're just going to take one ride on TriMet this summer, go ahead and pick one up. But if you're going to be gone in Europe all summer, don't. So, but yeah, the idea is that we got plenty of these things. We want to get them out the door.
Perfect. Awesome. Let me make sure. Let's see. So a couple questions. Sherry had asked with team member that works with homeless teens in Washington County. So my understanding, Sherry, is that you can send them to any high school to pick those up. Is that correct? Even if they're not attending that high school?
Yeah, and then again, a lot of community-based organizations. And as we get closer to the end of the school year, I know that, for instance, the Beaverton School District, they get out a week later. Most are ending on and around June 15th. We'll have a listing. There's actually a QR code on the pass itself that'll go right to TriMet's website and the Summer Pass program. We'll have a listing of places where people can go to get them. And we're fine tuning that now. And so as we get closer to the end of the school year, we'll have that published. And the McKinney-Vento program, we're communicating with staff in those programs to provide them there. If anyone is with one of these programs or something and hasn't heard from us yet, or please shoot me an email and we can make arrangements to have passes delivered to them. And it's always a good idea if you can have a rough estimate of how many you think. Maybe it's only 25, maybe it's 100. Let us know and we'll get them to you.
Great. And they are just for ages, you said up to 18?
14 to 18, yeah, essentially. Yeah, but it's essentially 5 grades we're covering. So even those who've just recently graduated.
Okay, so college students would not be a part of this.
We are going to have some for community colleges and I think PSU as well. We haven't kind of gotten that far yet because of their calendars are a little bit different, but there are several thousand that are earmarked for that. And yeah, we'll have them at the PCC sites, Mount Hood, Clackamas CC, and Portland State as well. In fact, we're also doing private high schools. So I'm making a delivery to Central Catholic here pretty soon, St. Mary's, LaSalle, De La Salle North. So those schools will have them as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So Alicia, did that answer your question as well in June?
And yes, it is only for the summer. Yeah, June 1st to August 31st.
Perfect. Okay. So if nonprofits are hosting events, could they order a certain amount to pass out at the event? And would that be tracked, or how would that work? Or a nonprofit hosting, just having them on site who work with you.
Yeah, get in contact with me and or my colleague Amparo, and we can make those kind of arrangements. We're trying initially here. We want to do the distribution to the high schools, make sure we're covered. We're a little bit of a supply chain thing. There's a couple of, this is about a 3-piece thing, and we're waiting for some more pieces to be printed and then compiled. So it's we're kind of working under that constraint, but we want to make sure we get them to the high schools first, and then kind of approach the nonprofits for doing events, that kind of thing. But by all means, yeah, contact me, contact Amparo, and we can make arrangements.
Great, awesome. And would you mind, John, putting your information in the chat?
I will.
Maybe Amparo's as well, if that's okay.
Yeah,
that'll be great.
So,
this is such a huge program. I know my kids use the bus system, and in the summer we always have, buy a pass and forget to do it, and then they get on, and then so this is such a really valuable tool, and I just
Sure. And
super
we're
excited.
pushing, I said, we've actually got poster sized versions of this with some more information on it that they're being printed now or putting up in high schools, and then we'll have them kind of available for again, the nonprofits, community-based organizations, and then digitized versions of this that organizations can grab and shoot out to their constituencies. So we'll hopefully, and there's actually going to be a small radio and TV spot on this too that's going to be broadcast out throughout the region. So we should have pretty good saturation awareness.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you for the work you're doing and for
Yeah.
providing this important transportation resource.
Sure. And it's to give credit where credit is due. The state legislature passed a big transportation package a few years ago. And this was a slice of that pie, was to get, and there's transit districts across the state too that are doing the same thing, from state money and grant programs and everything. So it's a good deal. And we're glad to be part of it.
Great. Well, thank you so
You
much.
bet.
Thanks for jumping on to share.
I'll put my stuff in the chat here.
Awesome. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
And thanks, Amparo, as well. Okay, awesome. So last up, let's see if Janet Honia or the Swindells Resource Center. Is there anyone on from Swindells? Okay. All right. Any last information that anyone would like to share, or questions, or resource? You're seeking resources that you're struggling to find? Anything we can help with? Okay. Awesome. I'm going to stop recording and